Well, welcome back for another Mish-Mash video. You know, most of the videos you're going to see from now on will be Mish-Mash. There may be a few differences. And a few things like this. I'll include radios in the Mish-Mash video. What's the latest on something that I'm working on. But now that for those of you who've been following my videos, we just finished up a Halo Light television. And I still have to do just a tinsy-wincy little adjustment or two on it, but it's done, it's fixed, it's working fine, and I can watch some movies on it. We have a flea market in town where I can buy all the VHS tapes I want for 50 cents a piece. It's a good deal. Anyway, I thought today I'd let you take a look at the my Hammarlund HQ-129-X. I decided to dig it out now that I was free from the television and the bench was empty. I thought I'd dig it out and turn it on, and I did that last night, and guess what? I couldn't receive anything. Of course, it's just the way it is with old electronics. You've just got to keep playing with it. It's a constant maintenance upkeep procedure. That's just the way it is, okay? So I got it out last night, and it just wouldn't receive, no matter what I did. I could get a little bit on the AM broadcast band, but nothing on shortwave, no matter what I did. So I, of course, had to take it out. And if no one's ever seen what the inside of a Hammarlund HQ-129-X looks like, here it is right here. The only thing I really had to do with this, other than recapping the entire thing and changing a couple of resistors I didn't like the looks of. They were all pretty good, but I changed them because I didn't like the looks of them. The only thing that was real bad was this tube right here. This is the rectifier. It was shot when I got it. It just didn't work. So I put another one in. It worked perfectly. It's worked fine ever since after I got everything done. But yesterday, big time problem. But I took it apart today, as you can see, out of the case, tipped it up. I sprayed the band switch. It had gotten, oxidized again. I sprayed the on-off volume control, or the gain. Then I sprayed the sensitivity, which is the RF gain. This is the audio gain. And, just generally gave it a good blow. I had a little bit of dust that had accumulated in it. And this is what we have now. I'm now on the 10 to 18 megacycle band. Let's see what I can find here. Let me get a chair. There we go. Nice looking speaker. It took me a while to find that, if you'll recall. A few videos back, I showed you that I had a surprise in a box, and it turned out to be this. I'll tell you what, after cleaning it and derusting and painting, it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful. I had to repair the speaker. I did a lot of repair on the speaker. But just for those of you who know, the speaker, you can put any speaker in these Hammarlund cases. They were designed for that. A 10-inch speaker. And I'm probably going to find a nice new one and stick in there eventually. I just haven't had a chance to get around to it. The speaker I have in here is a Jensen, and it's kind of patched up here, there, and everywhere. It works. It gives a good sound, but I think I want something a little better. It's the middle of October, and all the plants have died away with the exception of the tomatoes. Tomato plants are still going strong. We're still getting some decently sized tomatoes. Not very large, but it's that time of year. And they're ripening up every day. Let me see, I think I got some down there. Wifey will wind up picking those, and she puts them on the windowsill, and we make small tomato sandwiches out of them. And over here, you can see that their new ones are growing every day. Back up here a little bit. But every day she has to come out and pick some. Most of the ones we get are about this size right here. About that big. So this plant here is about head to lick. There's only about 4 or 5 tomatoes on it, and maybe a few more, but this will be the first one to go. And let's take a look at a few of the lessons learned on this hoop house. The first lesson learned was that I didn't build it strong enough for how I intended to use it. I tied the tomato plants to the support board slats across there, and we wound up with at least 300 pounds of tomatoes this year. So it just weighed it down. I shouldn't have done that. I should have had a separate pipe or something. Anyway, so this will all be coming down, and next year I'll be using much larger conduit. These are only 3/4 inch. And what I'll do is I'll buy larger conduits. I'll take these and put inside of the new ones, and that'll make it even stronger. Also, I put them 5 feet apart. No good. I should have put them 3 feet apart. Okay, so that's what I'll be doing next year. And as far as the slats go, the support slats or whatever they call these things, I'm going to try to make them wider and stronger. I hadn't taken into account all the heavy rains we get in the spring, and it just really weighed in on the plastic. So what I might do next year is not even bother with a lot of plastic. I don't know. It just destroyed what I had. So, but anyway, it'll all be much stronger, much better, and I think I might even extend it out that way just a little bit more. So that's about it. Now, as far as the raised beds go, I'm going to try to get some dirt, mix in with those. Yeah, the compost I use it grew really good tomato plants and really good cucumbers, but that's about it. It was just too much nitrogen for radishes, so I'm going to grow my radishes out here next to some potatoes next year. So I don't know. It's fun. This is what I like to do. If I was to build this thing perfect the first time, it wouldn't be any fun. I like to have problems that pop up that aren't too serious, no matter what it is. Whether I'm working on TV, working on a radio, working on a lawnmower, or working on a hoop house. Come up with problems, and then I kind of have to figure out how to solve them. And that's great. That's the whole fun of it. Sometimes you have colossal failures, and sometimes you just a little bit. I kind of like the ones in the middle. Wifey and great grandma's flower box is doing well also. As long as you keep them watered, throw a little fertilizer down on them, and they'll survive. The hard part is getting through the hot summer. Once they do that and the temperature cools down, they do pretty good. And here's another little bucket that are still doing good. And we got a couple of small ones up here. I don't know what they are, pansies maybe. I don't know. They grow good. Just because it's wintertime or getting into the fall, though, you still have to water them. You still have to water every day or every other day the tomato plants to keep them going. And I fertilized the tomato plants, I believe it was the last week, no, it was the middle of September. It was the first week or the second week of September. You fertilize your plants real good, then you start watering them. That's what keeps them going. If you stop fertilizing them, that's it. They'll die. But, throw your fertilizer down there, keep watering them every day, and they'll continue to grow until they can't grow anymore because of the cold weather. And here's another pot, and with a whole bunch of buds on it. They're fixing to pop out. They'll pop out and look, I believe they'll all pop out and look like this one. I have no idea what that is. This is a really nice one here, really crimson color. Just like I always said, I don't know the names of flowers. As far as I'm concerned, they're just red, blue, and green, and pink. Here's some wifey just went out and picked. Looking pretty good. And here's some from the other day. They're not big, but I'll tell you what, I'm not going to complain. I like fresh, fresh tomatoes. That's all there is to it. Look at that. They're nice little roundies. Wifey has been cooking a pot roast in her crock pot all night. It's looking real good, except for those carrots. I don't like carrots. But we got celery and onions and potatoes and a bunch of seasoning in there. It's looking good. It's smelling good too. About a week ago, I decided that I wanted to have a wok, a Chinese wok to cook in. I'd lived overseas, and I've seen Japanese and Koreans use them, right? Out in the boonies. I saw how they used them out, in their little houses. Kind of a neat deal. But the problem was I didn't know the kind to get. What are they made of? Which is maybe the best kind. So I looked around on YouTube, and I came up with a channel called Mrs. Lynn's Kitchen. Now, Mrs. Lynn is from California, and here she is. I'll give you a little see here.
新年快乐，恭喜发财. Happy Chinese New Year. Welcome to the Year of the Horse. Today at Mrs. Lin's kitchen, I'm going to show you how to select the best wok for your home.
She does a great job of showing you how to do that. And interestingly enough, you know, it not only does she want to show us the woks and various kinds, and some other things as well, a bamboo steamer, but it turns out that she has this store called Mrs. Lin's Kitchen, and it's located in California, and she sells these woks. So not only, you know, she's putting up a YouTube video that shows you about them, it's also an advertisement for her business. Then she said, well, I sell these in my store. Just go to my website. Well, I did go to Mrs. Lin's Kitchen's website, and I looked at all the offerings that she had in the various woks and things, just like she described in her video, and I purchased one. It has arrived. So let's open this puppy up and see what she looks like. Well, doesn't that look Chinese-ish? Let's finish opening it. All right, let's see what happens now. Ooh, look at that. Now, I like that. That looks really nice. Very nice packing. By the way, Mrs. Lin ships via FedEx, which I thought was cool. But at the last leg of the trip, FedEx hands it off to a local post office, which was downtown. And of course, it was the Columbus Day holiday, so I had to wait another day to get it in. You know, it just seemed like this thing went from California to all the way through New Mexico. It went through Russellville, Arkansas, through the town of Conway, where I live, all the way to Mississippi, and then turned around from Mississippi, was sent back to Conway, Arkansas, and eventually came to me. I have no idea why FedEx had to haul this thing all the way to Mississippi when it went right through the town where I live, and there is a FedEx, I guess they call it a delivery spot or office right here where they could have handed it off. See, kind of crazy, but you know, I got it. Let's take the rest of it out. I decided to order Mrs. Lin's pre-seasoned wok. I didn't want the plain metal one. Now this pre-seasoned wok is, it's not coated with Teflon or any of that non-stick stuff. It's just been heated up and pre-seasoned, and it is carbon steel, and it is safe to use with metal cooking tools. However, there is some preparation you have to do after you get it, how to clean it, remove. They put a coating on the inside of it, which is food safe, and we have to heat up the wok with a little bit of oil, move it around, and then remove that coating before we use. All the instructions are right here on how to do it. And then, of course, here we go. Carbon steel woks, the natural non-stick stuff. We got some more stuff in there that tells you all about it. And, you know, my aluminum lid, which is what I really wanted. You can't have a wok without aluminum lid. And it comes with a cleaver, and I took that cleaver out. Boy, I'll tell you what, that thing, you can shave with that booger. Woo-hoo! And then a couple of long chopsticks, which I'll never use. And then you have a ladle, okay? A metal ladle for soups and things. And then you have a wok spatula. Not a very good one. There's kind of a cheapo there. I'll probably wind up getting a better one. But this one will work temporarily. You know, it's got that curve. And, of course, a wooden mixer spoon, which I already have a couple of those. And the handle that goes on it. You slide it down on this chrome thing and then tighten up this screw thing at the end. And it tightens it right into the center there. And then we have a knob for the top of the aluminum lid, which I'll have to stick that on next, okay? That's pretty slick. I intend to use this thing. I've been wanting one for a long time, like I said, and I have one. Now, there's one other thing I want. Oh, I know what it is. I got the flat bottom. There was one other thing I wanted to tell you. I had to get the flat bottom wok because we have a glass or whatever, a ceramic top stove that's flat. If I got the round one and tried to cook on it, you know, it would have wound up wobbling all around on me like that. This one here is for flat top stoves, electric stoves. And the round one you can use for gas because you have those fingers that come out around the gas burners, and it'll sit there. Or you can go ahead and use the flat. I was glad to see that there was a flat one. I like that. And you know, I can put it over a fireplace. I can do all kinds of things with it. You know, a fire pit if I wanted to cook outside, which I won't. But that's about it for Mrs. Lynn's Kitchen Walk, her website, this all came as one kit. And there's various prices, various kinds, various offerings. Check it out, you know, if someday you decide you want to walk. I think that's an ideal place to get it. She's got everything in one, you know, just one website, one package. It may be a little overpriced, but I don't care. And I think this is 14 gauge. This is not your real thin crap like you find at Walmart. It's 14 gauge, and that is not a non-stick surface, believe it or not. That is pre-treated with heat to turn it kind of bluish, and after that you have to kind of keep it oiled and keep it really good so it doesn't rust, because it will rust once you start cooking with it and everything. Got to be careful. It is carbon steel, and a little rust will form on the surface from time to time. Incidentally, on Mrs. Lynn's YouTube channel, you go to her videos and you'll see that she has a number of other videos on there that shows you how to do some cooking, you know, different types of cooking, not necessarily Chinese. Here's one right here that's how to make Taiwanese fried pork chops. That's kind of cool, and I like this one. I'm going to be trying this one right here in the near future. It's how to make Taiwanese style pineapple mooncake. I really liked that video. It looks really good, and since wifey likes pineapple, I think she'll really like that one. Then there's Vietnamese, how to make a Vietnamese dish. And then of course Chinese. Here's a Japanese croquettes. There's all it even shows you how to heat sake properly without having it blow up in your face, I guess. And then there's different. Oh, this one is another good one if you ever want to have a, you know, a kind of an Asian supper for someone sometime, or maybe even for your family. How to use Asian tableware. Now that's cool. There's some nice videos on here. Okay, so you might want to not only check out her website, you know, for what she has to offer for sale, but, you know, run down her videos and watch a few of them. They're really good. She does a great job on it. She really does. Well, that's it for this video. As I stated earlier, there won't be any more step-by-step video series of radio and or television repairs, vintage television repairs. Those days are over. I've put up 500 and some videos all total of all different kinds of stuff over the years. It's time for y'all to take over. I want you to take over. Let me relax. Let an old man relax and watch and see if there's been any fruit from all my efforts. You know, I get messages quite a bit that says, "Hey, I bought my first radio. You're the one that made me buy it," and all this. And then generally speaking, I never hear from them again. So I don't know if they ever got the radios repaired. One guy said recently that, you know, I'm motivated now to go out and get a television. Good. I hope he does, and I hope he puts up a series on it. I hope we see some, you know, some step-by-step stuff. You know, good explanations, not dull, boring kind of videos. You want something that's constantly moving, you know, constantly upbeat, keep people's attention. You know, that was what I tried to do with all the videos I've done, is keep people, you know, change the subject from you know, second to second. The American mind is not one that puts up with boredom very easily. You know, and so that's it. Now next time, the Mish-Mash video will be about how my stock market investing has been going. For those of you who watched my video, you know what, about a month ago or so, a little more than a month ago, I opened up a Scottrade account down in Little Rock, put a little money in there, and I've been investing in the stock market. And you'll see, it'll be a one subject Mish-Mash video, okay? The stock market. You'll hear my philosophy on things, my wondrous philosophy. And of course, a lot of this philosophy I have is as a result of being older. You know, I've lived through a lot of things. I've experienced a lot of things. I've seen a lot of things. And you put all that together and you have a whole entirely different picture than, say, someone who's in his 30s. Someone in their 20s and 30s, they haven't lived long enough to develop a large picture of certain things. One of them, I think, being investing in the stock market. Now, there's some very sharp people out there, don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about average folks like myself. So we'll see how it goes. You know, I will tell you one thing, I haven't lost any money yet. Of course, I haven't become a millionaire either, but we'll cover all that in the next Mish-Mash video. So until then, this is John.